Welcome back, you guys. This is Mark with Ncengravers, and today we're going to be working on the H&K VP9. We're going to be doing the Raptor Cut service with all of the options available on that order. So this is a service that we've offered for quite some time. However, there are a couple details that we're going to throw in on this one that's going to give you better clarity if you're thinking about having your slide processed. It will answer those questions a little bit better and may also point you in the direction of exactly what you want to have done. So let's kind of jump into the project and let's talk a little bit about the details of what's going on before we get into the cut work. So first and foremost, because this is a complete project, we're going to end up doing the Raptor cuts on the top. So since this is not an SK and this is just a regular sized model, that means there's going to be 4 Raptor cuts on this side, 4 Raptor cuts on that side. Of course, that's going to cut down from the top, down the sides, and into the internal portion of the slide. So you are going to be able to see some barrel with that cut. There's also going to be a Cobra nose cut on the end. And last but not least, we're going to be doing an Optic cut. Now, I want to take you guys kind of through the Optic cut a little bit more. I want to give you sort of a better understanding and a little bit more clarity on what's going to happen with this exact setup, because with an Optic cut you can take different paths, right? And depending on which path you take will depend on what you need. So in this case, we're going to be running an RMR, and because we're going to be doing an RMR, what's going to happen is the factory iron sights that come on these guns really are not tall enough. Now, if you have a tactical version that has a threaded barrel and suppressor sights, it may work. So everything that you've got may work out of the box with with no upgrading of any parts. However, most of the time, people are sending in slides that are not the tactical version, and that's one of the reasons I want to get it cut for an Optic, and those iron sights that come with these will not be tall enough with this model Optic. So you will need to go with something else. This is just a set of Trigicons, and I, of course, here's the model number. It doesn't have to be just these. I mean, the idea behind suppressor sights on the VP is that there are several different iron sights on the market, and as long as they are suppressor height, they will work. So I do think that we do more of the Trigicons than probably anything. I think it's kind of the known sight for this weapon, but there are options, right? So keep that in mind. You're going to need suppressor sights to be tall enough to work with a RMR. Now, let's talk about a couple other optics, and let's talk about how you can keep those iron sights. If you want to have an Optic cut done with your order or just a standalone service, if you were to go with a smaller optic like a 407K, a 507K, this will set low enough to where the factory iron sights will be tall enough. The other cool thing is the EPS and the EPS carry will also fit that same setup. So if this happens to be the EPS, it's a fairly large optic, and let's kind of just give you, see if we can do this a little better here. I'm going to give you the overhang. So if we were to put this on here, it is going to be a little bit wider than the slide. Of course, you're going to run into a very similar setup with just the full-size Trigicon. So if you want to keep the iron sights, if you don't mind maybe a little bit of hangover and or how that would look, this may be your setup, right? You might want to put a little bit more money into the Optic itself and a little less money into the Optic and iron sights, depending on which direction you go. So you've got a couple different options depending on what Optic you go with. Going to need suppressor sights, not going to need suppressor sights with these two. So that's kind of a good deal. On this particular project, we're going to be going with a color that we do not stock, and that color is Sniper Green. We happen to have some here for another project, so we're going to be running this in Sniper Green, and then we're going to end up running a worn finish on the slide. Now, we've got a couple extra pieces here. We've got some grip panels and some backstrap and stuff, and we may show that at the end. That is always an option if you've got a mag extension, a frame, a backstrap, those grip panels, anything like that. Those are things that we will color and can color. Just sometimes, depending on what you're sending, we may require it to be disassembled. So if you're sending in a frame, we don't really take them apart. You'd have to provide that frame stripped of all parts, but it can be colored to color match the slide or whatever you want to do, whatever kind of project you have. So guys, let's jump over into the CNC. Let's take a look at that work. Let's bring it back and take a look and see exactly how this comes out. Alright guys, let's take a look and see exactly what this looks like as a final product now that we've got it put back together. Of course, we've colored it. Let's take you through that one more time, what each one of those cut services are. Keep in mind, really the number one reason we made this video was not only to demonstrate the work, but also to give you the correct naming of each one of the services. So if you do decide that you want to place your order, you understand what each one of those are. Of course, we've got an Optic cut, right? And then we've got the Raptor cut, and then we have the Cobra nose. Now, with the standard service, we run with a single color, right? So this one happens to be our NCE worn, so this was sniper green with a black overlay. Overall, I really like the design. I really think it came out really, really nice. You can see how this works with the upgraded iron sights, which once again, they are required in order to be tall enough to work with an optic, unless you go with a smaller optic, then factory sights are tall enough. So this is an OD green. Of course, this was a sniper, and then we have black. I'm not 100% sure what the frame is. I do know they came in an OD green. Of course, they also came in black, you know. So I'm not sure what color that is. We've got the other parts that we colored, backstrap. We've got a grip panel, another grip panel. So these came out looking really, really clean as well. So we try to get all the way around them. Of course, they'll slide in and lock in. We'll just set these guys back here. And the same thing here. So we will do, you know, an entire coat job on it, or the best we can. In some cases, parts like these in the back would be laying down maybe when we coat them, because they don't have like a pinhole or something to hold them by. But overall, we'll do our best to make sure that the exposed area is 100% coated, and then we'll, you know, best case scenario for non-exposed area for that. But overall, I'm super happy with the way that it came out. We do offer this service on the SK model, so you know that's an opportunity as well. There'd only be 3 cuts instead of the 4. There are other services that we offer for the VP9 model slides, which would be the wave cut, and then of course we've done other ones in the past that we really don't have listed on the webpage, but can be done. Like we've done a gear one, and we've also done a hive one. So you've got a lot of different options. What we tend to do is stick with services that people continuously order, and that's kind of what we add to the webpage, because we could do a gear pattern on the webpage or a laser cut pattern, as you guys have seen before, where we do laser cut windows on the sides on the webpage. What happens is sometimes those orders don't get placed as much as the standard orders. So instead of kind of, you know, sort of making the webpage full of services that aren't really used, we tend to stick with the cut work that seems to always come to the surface and what seems to always be requested. Overall, I really like the way that it looks. Once again, there's an upgrade charge for a battle worn or an NCE worn. The difference is our battle worn, we would actually do 2 layers of coatings, and then we would sand, and then we would clear. So there's a good solid chance you'd see some silver. And then of course with an NCE worn, there would be a solid color, and then typically we would add a black over the main color. And then we wouldn't do any sanding, so we don't have to worry about, like, you know, we don't have to worry about the raw metal showing and then us needing to do a clear over it to prevent it from rusting, because we're not really doing any sanding. I really like the way that this came out as well. I don't have the barrel of the frame or anything else here. Hopefully there's a possibility that the customer will send us some pictures, and if that is the case, you would find that over on our Instagram. And lately, most of our content has been moved over to our Facebook account. However, Facebook has been sort of flagging a lot of content. So what ends up happening is we have to go back and kind of dispute it, and then they'll put it back on. So Instagram's kind of the place to be as far as kind of like, you know, putting content up and them leaving us alone. That seems to be the good place for that. And always before a video comes out, you will find the content a little bit earlier on Instagram. So usually something's posted a couple days early or something along that line, and then we'll do a, hey, there's a video coming out, and you guys can kind of watch the video. But hopefully this has been educational for you if you're thinking about having this done, now that you know what each one of those services are called, so you kind of know what to select when you're placing your order from the web page. The web page does make you select yes and no on all services in order to generate a cost. So you can't just say, hey, I want to do Cerakote and Raptor Cut, and I don't want the Cobra nose. Just select no, and then it will generate you a cost. So as long as it builds you a cost, you can add it to the cart. Once you've added to the cart, it will ask you things like color choice or what optic are we going with, right? So it's going to give you some additional questions, and that's not just for the H&K. That's for all of them. So whenever you add to the cart, it's going to ask you additional stuff that pertains to that order, and then we can make sure we have all the correct details. You're more than welcome to leave a note on the order. We'll check that note whenever the product arrives for us to do that work, and then we'll reach out from there. Guys, if you need anything, feel free to let us know, and you can catch us on the next video.